we're recording again. And that means I
Hi.
don't have to start recording while saying or whatever it was that I did the
So,
first time I recorded.
yeah, you were making noises and stuff. We were
Hmm.
talking about that.
Yeah.
Um, you want to resume with sharing about your week?
Okay. Let's do quick things of the things that I just talked about. Fucking went to my mum's for dinner and came back and started sneezing like crazy. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Why am I sneezing like crazy in the middle of March? Oh, yeah. So that's great.
Hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
uh, some fun conversations with my mum because my granddad wants me to have power of attorney alongside her, which that's a lot for putting on someone that you don't actually speak to all that often. Not that that's of like intentional, but there are family issues that kind of get in the way and things like that, and it's awkward and weird, and I don't really want to go into it beyond that. But like, yeah, okay, that's a heavy conversation of which I've had several recently for reasons. But yeah, we have massively brushed over that compared to the first time I talked about it. You're welcome, audience. This is why it's a good thing that we had to start over, and not a bad thing because the microphone decided it wanted to not record Casey's audio at full volume.
Yeah. I have one grandparent still alive. Only one. Um, and she's the one who has smoked the heaviest out of all of them.
Ugh.
And she's still smoking. Her house smells of smoke. She
Mm.
doesn't go outside. She just hot boxes all day. And I swear at this point, I think the smoke is keeping her alive. Like she's become a smoke elemental. She's
Okay,
outlived everyone.
one, that's not what hotboxing means. Two, uh,
Her house is a box full of hot smoke.
unless you're talking about something very specific, a very specific thing she's smoking, that's not what hotboxing means. Second,
I know.
the yeah, that's actually probably the case at this point. If she has been smoking for that long and chain smokes constantly, if she stops, that's bad. That would go badly, like
Yeah,
just straight up.
that it keeps her going somehow.
Yeah, it's weird how the body reacts to that sort of thing once, like, eventually somehow the poison keeps you alive. It's weird. But yeah, so also we had a dinner and the steak was good. It was good steak.
Hmm.
And also a Cadbury's cream egg trifle for dessert, which she thought would be cool to try, and I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Until I saw it, and it looked like it was just literally a fried egg on top of chocolate, and that was disconcerting. Like the first time, I don't think I got across just how much this thing looked like a fried egg. Like it was indistinguishable just looking at it from just a regular, literal fried egg. So I kind of just halfway expected that it would just taste like egg, and that would be weird for a dessert. Um, and then it
Hmm.
didn't, but it also didn't taste like cream egg either. It just tasted like cream. It was very disappointing and disconcerting. Just
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird that it somehow managed to like unnerve and disappoint me in two entirely different ways, and just left me feeling just sort of, well, that was a dessert, I suppose, of a type. It existed for sure. Definitely had sugar in it. I think it's weird.
Sometimes things are like that.
Yeah, it was weird and disconcerting, and I don't, but it was good for a laugh. Just of like, what the fuck is this thing? Um, Aside from that, bring back classic. Uh, that
Mhm.
Zero says every week still, and no one calls him on it.
I'm
Well, I say week,
still
but
going still going to say it every time.
yeah.
I will not be deterred.
Uh, so good music happened. Yay. Fuck Kendrick Lamar and all of that like taste expanding and like just expanding horizons thing that I was doing, a new Coheed and Cambria album came out, and that means that Casey has been listening to nothing but Coheed and Cambria for the past 2 weeks. I forget when it came out. I think it was the 14th, so week and a half, maybe. No, week. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great album. It's a great album. I love it a lot, and I'm glad that after 11 albums, they are still making new and cool shit. Yeah, all about it. I wish I had the chance to see them at any point, but that is not in the cards, really.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck else have I been doing? Played a bunch more UFO 50, if people remember that game. That is the 50-in-1 style game that's aping, those old, like, hey, you've got a box of all these old games from console that existed way back in the day. Or,
yeah, game from console.
Or the ones that are just kind of, it's got 100 games in it and like 12 of them are variants of Solitaire or whatever. That old shitty trick that they used to pull back in the day. Yeah, it's one of those, but for a console that never existed and for games that never existed. So just full-on retro kind of reimagining of that era of games like in the 80s. And just like having a full narrative of this was the very first game that we made and it's very simple and it's just basically Pitfall. And then as you go through the list of games, it starts getting more and more complicated and doing more interesting things. It's really cool. I've been playing more of those. I believe one of them, called Porgy, has caused me to sink about 7 hours into it. It is a Metroidvania deep sea exploration game. And it is kind of fucking cool. I'm not going to lie. It's just like legit a cool game. Like completely removing all the trappings of like the retro and the fake console and all that stuff. That's neat. It's just actually a good game and really enjoyable. There is a Windjammers clone in there, if you are familiar with that, which was like the kind of air hockey style game, which is just a really fun game. It's annoying because, the computer cheats a little bit in the last couple matches, but yeah, it is fucking great.
Nice.
I wish I could play it 2-player, honestly, because it's kind of that kind of cool. And a bunch of others that kind of escape me a little bit. There is one that is sort of like a Crazy Taxi GTA kind of thing, like the old top-down GTA games. I mean, it's just a bunch of weird ideas thrown at the wall and given modern game design facelifts. So they are designed with modern ideas incorporated into them, so they play better than actual 80s games would have done. So that is still really cool, and I am not even halfway through the list of games. Like I have played all of the ones from the first half of like this quote unquote console's development, and I still have all of the ones that were like the end of the road for it that have the most intricate stuff. And I'm already finding great gems in there. So that's just a really cool thing. I think a lot of people should play it if they haven't already. Just give it a try because it's really fucking cool.
You say the name again?
UFO 50.
UFO 50. Yeah.
It is made by.
I might check.
It is made by the guy that made Spelunky.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably see if I can give that a try later on.
Yeah. Cool.
I think I actually heard about it before a long time ago.
I brought it up and talked about it extensively before. That was when I'd played about maybe 8 to 10 of the games. As in the earliest 10 of the games.
Right.
And that was the point where I was like, yeah, there's some neat stuff in there, and it's a really cool concept, and it's a really cool idea. I hadn't found any that really kind of grabbed me at that point. Definitely have now. There is a full-on JRPG in here as well. that I haven't found yet. But I'm...
My gosh.
There's... It's... Yeah. It's weird.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that might have been... I started watching Hotbo-NO again for...
Yeah.
No reason. I can't even remember what the impetus of it was, but that has been how I've spent most of the past couple of days. Is just watching Hotbo-NO again. It has made me want to write a boxing thing, and that's not great because I've got so much stuff I'm working on. Yeah, that's... I know how my brain works, and I watched about 8 episodes, and I was like, oh, you know, it would be really cool to write a boxing thing. And I watched up to about episode 12, and I was like, if I were to write a boxing thing, how would I set it up? What kind of systems would I use to do and started designing it in my head, and it's just inevitable now. This is just the thing that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
On top of all of the full narrative stuff that I am, consistently writing, like commissions and all the Patreon stuff and just stories that I'm writing, I am running 5 quests concurrently at this point. 5. It's a problem. I can't stop myself.
Oh, you're just asking for it now.
A little bit. It's a real problem.
Well, I'm waiting. I'll wait for you to mention burnout next week.
You say that.
It's already happening. It's already setting in.
It already happened. For just straight up narrative stuff where I've got to okay, head down, fucking let's plan some stuff out. Let's do this. Let's put full effort into making this a really cool story. That has absolutely already happened, and I have mentioned as such on the Patreon of just I'm going to finish all the chapters that I'm still owing, and then I am on break. Oh God, I'm on break. So yeah, that is a thing that has kind of happened. That and quest writing are 2 very different things, because it's a matter of narrative. You are in full control of everything. You 100% have all control, and that means all responsibility to make this a cool story that people will enjoy. Quests, because it's interactive, a lot of the onus comes off of me and onto the people making choices, because there is so much that I can't control. And I just kind of have to roll with it. And that means a lot of the, hey, I am setting up stuff for later, can just kind of fall by the wayside a little bit. Not entirely, because, you have to set things up for people to find and discover and do and give them elements to work with and stuff like that. But actual planning for how it's going to pay off, you can't do that. So there's no reason to even think about it until people start voting. Because of that, it's a lot less stressful.
Yeah. There is that.
So
you have that space from people, just that time, and in that time, I want to write, but I can't write the thing that I want to write because can't write yet. So
it's kind of the expectation of, hey, if you fuck this up, then you fuck this up, and people will be angry at you, and there's no one to pass the buck to, and you just kind of have to suck it up and say, yeah, this isn't what people wanted. Whether it's good or not, it's not what people wanted. If it's bad, it's bad. But if it's not what people wanted, that still is the thing that you just kind of have to deal with, and that's not fun. But if it's a thing that it's quest writing, so it can be random chance, or it could just be the way people are voting, and they're, like I say, the onus is off of me in that respect. Hey, the dice said no, or people voted for a thing and it didn't work out because whatever reason, then yeah, the blame doesn't automatically go to me. It's I'm gonna be honest, over the past few months of writing things where people are not especially into them, but it's commissioned, so I kind of have to write it anyway. It's a little draining. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little draining. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, get
Anyway,
some rest while you can.
yeah. Sort of get things
I
done. Move on. Yeah.
I heard Jim Carrey talk about once that depression stems from spending too long pretending that you're someone you're not. It seems like that's translating sort of to writing here. If you're not writing, if you're not being yourself in your writing, not writing what you really want to write, then all the time you're spending writing, it's just a chore rather than invigorating and pleasing as it should be.
Um, yeah. I can I go next on my week, or we got anything else you did?
No, I'm good. Yeah. So.
Okay, so I have changed my medication for my ADHD.
Mm.
Previously, I was relying on antidepressants because I didn't want to go onto the stimulants immediately because they're hard to get. There's a shortage across America and other places probably. And so I decided, you know what? I think it's time to move on and try the stimulants. So something happened to me once I've experienced what it's like to be on that stimulant. You know how with like ADHD, ADD, when you really want to do something, it's extremely difficult to work up the motivation to do it.
Yep. Well,
Right. So
ish, sort of. Yes. It depends
I
on what you
skip,
mean by want, but yes.
I skip that step now, and because I now skip that step while I'm medicated, um, a lot has happened. So I went through my walk-in closet is now a walk-in closet again. I have gone through and thrown out every single piece of like trash or thing that I don't use. I've organized my entire closet. I've bought new shelves and everything to help organize it further. I cleaned my room. I emptied out drawers that I was not using. I got a new nightstand, assembled that nightstand, put it together, and now that is one that is actual height for my bed appropriate. Has like an underglow to it on one of the shelves. Things look super cool. Um, I have a new mouse pad that can actually charge my phone at the same time. Has a little bit of a glow to it because it looks fun. I organized my bookshelf. I put installed new shelves in my room to put up my like figures and stuff, so now they're not crowding everywhere. I went and basically organized my entire life. I've got files for all of my important documents now. They're not just kind of thrown together. I've organized everything with that. I've been on a huge cleaning and organizing kick, and especially my classroom as a teacher, that entire area has now been a lot more cleaned up and organized. It's been nuts.
I'm jealous. I'm super
Spring
jealous.
cleaning. Spring
I
cleaning and
it's
all
spring
that.
cleaning, but I discovered that with about myself that I am naturally a very clean and organized person. I just cannot will myself to do it normally,
Mm.
and so when I can do that, I go above and beyond to clean and organize everything. I even put together a model kit for a War Greymon that I got years ago that I never finished. Like, I'll put it in the chat, but here's it's like the War Greymon amplified one. I finished that, I assembled that, I put together a new nightstand, bought a new lamp that actually like works with my nightstand and is tall enough that I can, easily reach it and stuff while lying down or while going around. I went and like, organized my everything. It is like I even got this like little box thing that you put your like keys and wallet and stuff so that you're not, you know, you don't lose things all the time. I found my old Magic the Gathering cards too. and it's just been an experience of finding things and organizing, and like it's a much more livable area now.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And even then, the pictures I just sent in the recording chat are old. I've even added more stuff. So, and like to organize and clean it, it's cleaner than it is in those pictures. Um, yeah, no, it's
Is that Oblivion?
yes. The Keyblade, yes,
Is it full size?
yes.
Wow. Do you have Oathkeeper as well?
Only Oblivion right now. That one I got from an anime convention years ago, but I never got Oathkeeper. Otherwise, I put it across in a crossed form.
Of course you would.
Yeah, naturally.
But that bring up a good point. I'll buy that.
An Oathkeeper. Maybe a third one. What would be a third one if you were to put it vertically?
To become one.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, the exact thing that I would be looking for just showed up. Nice.
Of course.
Uh, I'm not gonna buy it right now though.
God damn it! You've got me fucking. Okay.
But yeah,
In
no,
fairness, I did look into like getting like Kingdom Hearts merch, and it's like, oh yeah, we don't do anything in Britain anymore for some. Or I don't even know why.
but yeah, whole bunch of stuff. Really, like getting that all organized and cleaned has been fantastic for my mental uh for my brain in general. Just like, yes, I can do this. I'm not a messy, lazy person. I can actually get stuff done. This is awesome. This is great.
Yeah, cleanliness does lend itself a lot to mental health. You just look at everything that's lying around out of place, and it can be draining. Like devaluing your self worth, thinking you are not worth the effort to get all of this cleaned up and done. It's something that even I'm still struggling with.
Hmm.
Stuff that I need to haul out and clean up and then vacuum, and
So
so much to do.
the lack of brain fog has been fantastic, to say the least. And while I've been very productive as a result of that, I haven't had a lot of time for like games and stuff as much as I normally would, because instead of playing games, I'm doing things that are actually productive with my life. Crazy, I know.
Ew.
Like my dad's complaining that I kept overfilling the trash can because there was so much trash and stuff I need to get rid of that I should have gotten rid of years ago. Like I found my high school diploma in there.
Yeah, it needs to go in the bin.
But yeah, no, it's been great. And in terms of like media stuff, I'm continuing to watch Daredevil. Invincible season 3 also just finished up. Um, Daredevil's still good. I don't know if you took a look at it, Casey.
I do not have Disney Plus at the moment.
Okay.
I got
Well,
very mad at them. Let's say about 10 months ago, for reasons
that's understandable.
like, to be clear, real life reasons, not like it's fucking they made a show. I don't like. I mean, like
Yeah.
they caused problems when my stepdad passed, and I was less than pleased with them at the time, and I have not felt any impetus to go back and actually sign up again.
That's understandable. But I'm really liking that they're still taking a very grounded like angle with Daredevil. It still feels like very real, everything that's happening. And the acting's just been on point. Like really enjoying how they're handling that franchise. And I also went and finished Invincible season 3. That is a fantastic season. Highly recommend. Like,
Is that going to be the end of it, or is there another one?
there's going to be a lot more Invincible coming up.
Really? Okay.
I looked at the
Because
comics.
I know that story in the comics is complete. There is an end point on that story. So.
Yes, the comic run is about 160 issues.
Yeah.
We're on like 60.
Okay. Cool.
So we have like at least 3 more seasons.
I'm gonna be real. I know how the comic ends. I don't know most of how it goes in the interim, but I know how it ends. And if it ends the same way, it's gonna be kind of disappointing.
Well, the animated series has been making changes to the comics that are improvements
Oh.
as they go. Certain characters who would normally die end up living, and certain characters who don't get a lot of actual depth to them are getting more fleshed out. And so they're making adjustments and changes because if you get the chance to rewrite your story, how would you do it? And what mistakes would you fix? And that's kind of happening here.
Sorry.
Mm. So that's been pretty good. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition came out a couple days ago, and I started playing it. For those who don't know, Xenoblade Chronicles X is kind of the weird one of the Xenoblade games. Like there's 4 games, there's 1, 2, and 3,
I was gonna say,
and then
wasn't
there's
X
X.
the sort of remake of one?
It's not really a remake. It's it bears so little in common with one, like on the surface, that people were like, "What is this? This isn't a sequel. This isn't what I wanted." Right? Um, it also was one that previously was made fun of because you require like a college course to understand the mechanics of the game because the combat is so complex. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. They've taken steps to make it more approachable. The graphical updates from, compared to being on the Wii U, much better faces and everything for all the characters. Better environment, runs really well, and I've not gotten that far into it because again, I've been cleaning and organizing like a freak.
Hmm.
I actually scare myself a little bit because I no because normally to deal with my ADHD, I'm like I have to focus on one thing and get it done. That turns into obsession with when I'm medicated. So
Hmm.
it's not just I need to compensate for the fact I get easily distracted. It's oh no, I can't think of or do anything else right now.
Hmm.
So
I mean,
yeah,
that overall sounds pretty detrimental, but at the same time, you have you have wiped out what sounds like years worth of built up stimuli that have been negatively affecting you.
Hmm.
I feel like
yeah,
in the long term, that's going to be a massive benefit as long as you keep up with it and don't let it ever pile up that high again.
yeah. I'm doing my best to keep on top of it for right now. Um, it's also side effect of the pills lessens my appetite,
Hmm.
which
Good.
unironically is actually a good thing for me because I'm a bit overweight at the moment. So I'm already losing weight just off of that alone.
Hmm.
So
That is
yeah,
that is good.
yeah. Apparently, you can also use some of this medication as a dietary supplement or something to help with dieting.
I
But
wonder why it isn't short supply.
yeah, well, I mean that and well, partially that, partially for people, using it for recreational purposes.
Hmm.
You
Is
don't say.
yes, I do say. Um, but where was I? I was talking about yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've been playing. Um, and look forward to playing more of that. Final Fantasy 14. I got into a little discussion about earlier with some friends because they there's a lot of complaints that there's not a lot of content, and like that's kind of the norm for this part of the patch cycle, but also it leaves you wondering why does it have to be like that, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Because the last bits of content that they've actually added have been for like a very small section of players. It's just more high-end rating content, basically.
Mm.
But 7.2 is coming out soon, like really, really soon, like in a day or two. And 7.25, which is a few weeks after that, I think, or months, I don't know. I don't know their schedule. Is going to have the Eureka Basha equivalent of a giant open zone area you can explore and stuff. And that's fun.
Hmm. It
Um,
sounds like they're drip feeding content a little more than they used to.
yeah, it feels a little bit like that, but I mean, we've talked about the complaints with the story before, and that
Yeah.
does
We don't
play
need to
into it.
relitigate that. That's
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that again. But with the new patch, we're gonna get a whole bunch more story. We're gonna get more we're getting a new dungeon, a new trial, um, new raids, and um, I mean they're also like doing a bunch of like little fixes and stuff. PvP, one of the PvP maps for Frontline, Secure, is back now. So after being removed early on, it's now back and revamped. So that's fun. I like PvP. And they're actually going back and upgrading the textures on a lot of old items because now with the graphical update, a lot of old gear looks just really bad, like really, really bad, like pixely bad. So they're going through and updating the resolution on the textures and on a lot of old items and adding two-channel dyes for a lot of old items. They're actually going to previous areas in the game and adding like new vegetation, new like vegetation at higher resolution, like a lot of graphical updates coming with
hmm.
this patch, which is really nice. Um, and it seems like those complaints about lack of content are going to start to fade away as we get into 7.2. Um, hopefully that stays the case. I still feel like they should have thrown us something like a variant dungeon or something with the launch of the game.
Mm.
Just like a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I understand it's like you're making a whole new region with whole new culture, with whole new everything, and even so, what you gonna do? It's been like a year almost. It's like the game Dawn Trail came out in July of last year,
Yep.
right? And now we're in March of this year, so it's been a long time with a lack of casual content. So
Yeah. So if 7.1 was the raid content, then that was what, like December around about, or like
yeah,
November? Yeah.
yeah, November, December-ish. We start getting
Yeah.
like that sort of stuff.
That's that's less than ideal, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there's just been like I saw a post the other day of like they've dropped under 1 million concurrent players.
Hmm.
Um, which
I
is
find that surprising, but all right.
yeah, we'll see how it goes once the patch comes out though. But I mean, I still have weekly groups that I played the game with, so I still play the game. Mainly for them. I don't really log in outside of that stuff. Um, to say my catchphrase aside from that, uh, oh, did I tell you about my new phone? I got a new phone.
You didn't, but cool.
Yeah, I upgraded my phone, so now I actually have room for games on it and music and stuff. And now I can actually like do my mobile gaming gotcha addiction. Yay. Ah. Yeah, no, it's been a really busy week, especially on the work side, because I had to meet with parents like 3 different times this week. One of those times it was with the same parent, and both times it was with a vice principal or principal present, or both, because they are convinced that their child that there was a mix-up and their child should not have gotten a previous suspension. There was indeed not a mix-up, but they are upset because I mean their child has been suspended now 3 times, and it was not my fault necessarily that they're not mad at me. They're mad at the way that admin handled it, and I'm caught in the middle, and it's just really stressful.
Hmm.
But I mean, he did choke the kid, the same kid, on 2 different occasions.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it was like, and then the last suspension was because kicked that kid in between the legs in the nuts in anger because he annoyed him. Like, I'm sorry that you're upset that like that suspension happened, but
Your kid is being super violent.
yeah, your kid keeps hitting people and choking them. He comes back and he says, we're sharing our good things in our morning meeting. He says, my good thing is I was suspended because I got to play games.
Okay.
That tells me a lot.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, it's been rough. Especially with that and like having some late parent teacher conferences. Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. And then I have like a SST meeting, which is like a whole thing for another kid soon. But then the SST coordinator has to leave their position to go back to their previous position because the person that they've got to fill their previous position um, dropped the F-bomb on the students and walked out and quit. So it's kind of a mess.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, run that last one by me again.
Okay, so the person who coordinates our SSTs, which are like sort of strategy meetings for how to help students who are struggling, has to go back to her previous position, which was a teacher, because the person that they got to replace her got very frustrated with the sixth graders that she was dealing with. Um, Said your parents are doing effing nothing, uh, or with the F word, and quit the same day.
Uh,
Did the school perhaps hire Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Is that how this played out? Just walked in like
I don't
fuck them
even know.
kids and then walked back out?
I don't even recognize the name, and I still get the sentiment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so that kind of now my meeting is set up with the SST coordinator, and I'm having the principal there, and the principal is getting thrown into having to take over this position now, and it's just a mess.
I remember the days back when I attended a school where they had separate guidance counselors for every single grade.
I had oh, uh, yeah, yeah. I wish we had that. Um, Kids are mean. Kids are real mean. Um,
Just throwing that out there in the chat, just in case anyone
yeah.
wants to know the
Okay,
context.
understood. Um, I we have a new fourth grade teacher who has joined our fourth grade team finally. After it's been a revolving door of teachers. This time it's a male teacher, so I have a friend to bond with.
Yay!
Yay!
Does he play
And I,
Magic? Because apparently you've been into that for a little bit.
um, I mentioned D&D, and he talked about getting a game started, and I was able to zero in just watching at his demeanor and things I talk about. I was like, "You're one of us, aren't you? You're a nerd just like me, aren't you?"
He's a teacher. Like, it can be assumed on some level that yes.
I bet you read manga. You look like it. So,
In this day and age, it's hard to tell whether that's supposed to be an insult or like just an observation.
it's an observation. I can tell.
Okay.
I can tell.
Didn't come in wearing the Ahago like jacket or whatever.
No, never. But yeah, no, I've been organizing, cleaning up my classroom, added some like fun these like light covers that are like image of a blue sky, image of a forest that kind of dim slightly and tint the lights, which makes the room feel incredibly calming now, which is nice. It's good. That's what I want. Previously, the lights were very harsh, and just making the classroom feel much nicer to be in is what I'm working on. Less likely to have conflict that way. And yeah, no, it's just been real busy with work and improving the quality of my life while I'm in my room, that I don't feel overstimulated all the time. I found a lot of stuff though, seriously. Like stuff that I had no idea I had. I recommend you do the same.
It is.
Go clean and organize. You'll find the things that you lost 14 years ago.
Being real, the thing I lost 14 years ago is probably a fucking pizza box.
Oh dear.
Well, good news is it wasn't 14 years of mess, but it was 8 years at least. Well, anyway, that's it for me.
How you doing, patient?
I'm alright. It was my branch's turn, rather, to work on Saturday yesterday. I can't complain too much with it being once every 2 months. It's not that big a deal. Just 4 or 5 hours once every 2 months. It's not too bad. The week leading up to it, they decided that this was a good time to send my manager down to the bank headquarters at the border of Mexico for the entire week. So, our branch, which has a total of 3 staff members at the present, by the way, including myself, required coverage for the entire week, which the market is overall not well equipped to provide. We had one person come by to act as manager, and we also had sporadic coverage for the other days of the week. Ultimately, it led 2 out of the 5 days to us having, to me, not getting to take my lunch break. So, it's going to be a fair amount of overtime that I have on this coming paycheck, and that's going to be nice.
Silver lining, I suppose.
Yeah. It shouldn't have got to the point where they decided to send away a manager on the week where we were supposed to work on the weekend, because the funny thing is, if you're going to work on Saturday, you have to give up hours elsewhere in the week, lest you get overtime. So what they did for that, they gave me and my other remaining coworker half the day off on Monday. And you know a funny thing? You're not allowed to open or close the branch without at least 2 people there. So you have 2 permanent staff members, and you give both of them half the day off on Monday.
Yeah. Monday probably being one of the busiest days, I'm presuming.
Yes, I acknowledge that my branch is relatively slow. But you can usually rely on it being busy on Mondays and Fridays. So yeah. Dealing with the typical incompetence of the people that write my paychecks every day. It's exhausting, really. Incompetence and greed, I should add. Just more accounts, more products, more sales, more of this, more of that. And never mind the fact that we can't hold on to our staff. Oh, and never mind the fact that the company owners know that the market leaders are just outright delusional about that. Because I heard from one of my coworkers that he heard from our VP, who's pretty much running the show, that our market is doing great as far as staffing goes. Great, he says, when we barely have enough employees at every single branch to open. We should have 5 employees at a branch at minimum to be considered a healthy staff.
Yeah.
Branches are lucky to have 3.
But corporate perspective is, but you have enough staff to open.
Yeah, except for the fact that...
Except on Monday. Except on Monday.
They're also laboring under the delusion that they have the right to forbid us from getting any overtime.
That's not how labor law works.
No. It's a joke that makes me laugh every time I hear it. But yeah, I'm not fond of this job. I'm less fond of the fact that nowhere else will hire me. So... bearing with it as I slowly wipe out my debts. And then build up my savings, and we'll see where we go from there. Aside from that, slowly closing in on updating a couple of fics. I'm not the main author on either one, but both are closing in on being updated, so that'll be nice. Also gotten to an interesting point in a Persona 5 crossover. This is a story that... It's a time travel of the vanilla game that puts the protagonists in Royal, and then into Tactica, and then into Strikers. And they become acquainted with Persona users from 4 and 3 as well, along the way. And after all of that, their world is devoured by the Heartless, and they enter Kingdom Hearts. That's the most recent story.
Okay.
And the most recent world that they've reached is one that was not present in the original game. I don't suppose either of you recognize the name of, what was it? Hold on. For goodness sake, it's... the name Luxembourg.
Nope.
Never mind then. Yeah, I can't remember if I brought this up before. I just know they've reached the point where they've entered the world from Bravely Default, another Square title.
Mm.
And Star Ocean's world is going to be appearing at some point as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I also covered the world of the Emperor's New Groove, and that was a lot of fun. Most of the Phantom Thieves got stuck in the inevitable waterfall scene.
He's gone far away.
And the why do we even have that lever scene. So that's fun. I've also been replaying Metaphor ReFantasio. I've arrived at the end game, basically, where all that's left is clearing the last dungeons and maxing out everything that you haven't gotten the chance to yet before the final battle. So I'm just building up as much as I can, trying to max out everyone's archetypes until I am ready to take on the bonus boss. And once I do that, I'll figure out what I'm supposed to do to get the trophies that are glitched out. That'll be annoying. And once I've done that, that'll be another game platinum, and I'll see what new obsession I get to next. Also been enjoying a web series called King of Games, wherein 8 Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTubers come together in a tournament of various Yu-Gi-Oh! Related challenges to see which one comes out on top. Not all duels, and it's been enjoyable. I've watched the first 6 episodes, with the final one coming out at some point soon. They're
Nice.
quite entertaining.
That it, though? Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. I don't really... It's just been another relatively calm couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty chill.
Yeah. I got one last thing I think I want to add. Just to briefly touch on this, because Casey brought it up earlier. Yes, I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. We've been playing it in the Discord, using the tabletop simulator. Has an area set up for it. You can just load in decks from Archidect. You can make your own decks on there and then load them in with the link. And I've not, like, it's been fun. I made my own deck. It's not as strong as other decks because I don't understand the current meta as much. So sometimes I'll just grab a deck from one of those decks that somebody else has made that's probably way better than mine and try to understand it and learn how to use it and what the different new cards do. It's been fun.
Was it our server that brought up the bimbofication theory of blue decks?
Honestly, I've not seen that, but it seems like something our server would do.
Yeah, it was the thing where, like, a magic deck is basically the entirety of a wizard's knowledge and power and competency and all the things that they know and understand and can summon, so a mill deck that just gets rid of all of your cards is technically biblification.
I had a, I had a, uh, there's a card that where it's like every turn you add 2 counters onto this card, and then you mill that many cards as for the counters. And eventually you're gonna mill your entire deck. Once you mill your entire deck, you can play creatures from the graveyard instead of drawing a card. And that's how you stay in the game. But if you can't do that, you die. Game over. Is entirely a suicide one.
Hmm.
But there's lots of fun concepts with that. And they have all the different collabs they've done over the years. Like if you want to make like a Lord of the Rings deck, they've got that. If you want to make a D&D style deck, they've got that. My deck that I made is called Cooking with Gave, who's this big mushroom man. And I have the background D&D background enchantment called Master Chef.
Okay.
So like, oh, creatures that come in have more +1/+1 counters on them. So Gave is the master chef cooking you up a bunch of mushrooms because it's all saplings I'm summoning. But yeah, no, there's all sorts of like, I mean, there's the Doctor Who decks as well.
And the Final Fantasy ones that are just being promoted and stuff with the terrible
There's also
Yuffie art.
There's the Fallout ones as well because they had a Fallout collab. Like, that's pretty cool. It's like even a 3-dog card from Fallout 3. So, kind of learning how it all goes and understanding how to play that. It's fun. It's just fun. And then sometimes it'll be a situation in which my friend Dawn decides to make her entire deck around turning lands, which you use for mana, into creatures that all have flying. And it becomes incredibly terrifying, and I just kind of give up. And after like when one person's turn takes like half an hour in a card game, that's when you're just like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. Thank you. I'm done. Please stop. But yeah, no. That's fun, and it's also good community building with the Discord. That's how I also consider it. You should play, Casey.
No, I shouldn't. I tried. I didn't like it. I tried on Arena, one of the ones that they fucking did. I don't know. I tried. I didn't like it.
Well, try with friends.
No.
Use one of our. Okay. Well, I tried.
Some things just aren't for some people. That's fine.
I know. I just want to play games with you.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's
you know, you
hard
say
because
that
you're
there's this fun game called UFO 50. I don't think UFO 50 is online.
It does have multiplayer stuff on it, but I don't know if it's online.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Remote play together. So, share split screen. Okay, I don't know. Well, anyway, that's it. We also did podcast earlier in the month, so there is no Patreon.
Yeah. Still cool though. People on Patreon.
Yeah, still awesome. I'm finding all sorts of things. All this merch I could display in my room that I could buy with real money. I'm not going to though. I'm not made of money. But I could.
Yeah, money's the thing. My fucking council tax is going up. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody else got anything they would like to share, yap about, talk about? Nada? Nothing? Anything? Nothing?
Nothing of the sort.
Okey-dokey.
I watched the back archive of Lythero's videos. That's still a cool guy. Cool animators doing collabs with him and stuff. That's cool. Yeah. That's... I guess.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think you're seeming tired.
A little bit. I don't know. Just sort of mentally checked out. I've been talking to people a lot today. Like I say, I went to my mom's house, and that's Like 90% of my social battery was kind of gone before we even started recording.
All right, well then let's go and end it for now. Y'all, thanks for
Yeah, link to this
Yep.
Discord and the Patreon description and a printer. It's a burr. It's a burr.
Brr.
Until we
Bye-bye.
meet again.
It's a burr.